back to the Brain Mission channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the curriculum-based test for science, and this time we're looking at the year 2022. And remember, we're looking at the primary exit profile, and we're looking at grade 6. Now, as parents, would we have done well if we had taken this test in 2022? Let's try it out. And remember that you can download this test paper by clicking on it in the description and downloading it from the link there. Let's jump in, parents. So, first is first, let's read the instructions. It says your booklet contains 40 questions and the space for you to shade your answer. Shade all answers in the space provided in your booklet. 2. Read each instructions carefully, think about the answer, and then make your choice. 3. Be sure to completely shade the circle that matches the answer you have chosen. So here's the correct way to do it, and here's the incorrect way to do it. Ensure you shade the entire circle. Incorrect way is to put a tick or X. Alright, if you change your answer, erase the first shaded answer completely, then shade in the new answer. And finally, ensure you're using a number 2 or HB pencil to do your shading. Alright, so here's an example of how you should do the shade. Which of the following can be classified as a living thing? So we know that tree is the only living thing here. We would have shaded the entire circle to select tree. You would have shaded C. All right. So let's jump in. All right. I've already done it though, just for the interest of time to make this video short. All right. But you can tell me how I did and if you agree with the answers that I selected by putting it in the comment section. So number one, what name is given to an area where living and non-living things are found? I chose environment, right? Landscape, location, marine is just not suitable. I think an environment is definitely the answer. All right, 2. Which activity is likely to have a positive effect on the environment? What is likely to have a positive effect? Urbanization, as we know, is people cutting down trees, building bigger cities, moving to the cities. So slash and burn is not good. Overfishing. So I chose mulching, which is mulching the land, which is good for the soil. All right. Number 3. Read the statement in the box below, then use it to answer item 3. We have to preserve the plants and animals in this area of the forest so that they will be available for future generations. So, preserving the plants and animals in the forest, the activity here I think is conservation, right? So, tell me what you think. Recreation is having fun, maintenance is trying to ensure that something stays intact. Transformation is totally different. So I said conservation. Which is number 4, sorry, which is a soil conservation method? I see limiting the number of animals grazing on a section of land. Because if you do that, then definitely you would be conserving the soil. Plowing the land vertically would definitely cause landslides, right? Planting the same crop is not a good thing. And using more pesticide is not good. Which activity would likely result in soil degradation? Bauxite mining, of course. Reforestation is planting of trees. Crop rotation will help the soil. Organic farming is definitely good. Greenhouses and all of that. Read the information below, then use it to answer item 6. So, for many years, members of the Queen's Landing community have been dumping their garbage in nearby mangroves, which is a likely effect this activity is having on the environment. I chose A. The fish and the turtles are getting trapped in the garbage and dying. That's what I think. Tell me what you think. All right. The poster below was seen on the wall of a community center. Examine it, then use it to answer item 7. So I'm seeing use both sides of the paper. That's paper conservation. This is water conservation. This is us not driving, so emission goes up in the ozone layer. And this is a computer turn off at nights, which is to preserve electricity. So I chose reduced climate change for the overall thing, right? So which best tell the message being conveyed by the poster? I chose reduce climate change. The graph below shows a relationship between a predator and its prey. Use it to answer item 8. So here's the graph, and it shows that the axis, the y-axis over here is showing the population of the population of both the prey and the predator. And down here is showing the years in which we're measuring for the prey and the predator. Over here is a key that shows this thinner line is for the prey, and the bigger line with this, I think a circle, is for the predator. So it says during 2016, I'm sorry, there was a spike in predator reproduction, and their population size grew to 80. What would likely happen to the population of prey? So if you can, if you pay keen attention here, you realize that each time the population of the predator goes down, the population of the prey goes up. So when the population of the predator goes up, the population of the prey goes down. So if this is asking us if there's an increase for the population of the predator, then definitely I chose that the population of the prey would continue to decrease. All right. Which statement best explains how plants help to prevent soil erosion? So what I know plants do is that they hold the soil firmly in position, so the soil doesn't, we don't have a landslide or the soil doesn't move away, and strip it down to stone. So I know that definitely this is a one. What would you choose? Um, the sign below was seen on the front door of a supermarket. Use it to answer item 10. It says, what is the main reason for the ban on single-use plastic bags? To help reduce what? Not the number of trees, because I think that's paper bag, right? Carbon dioxide emission, I don't think so. I think that plastic bags are non-biodegradable wastes, and they cannot be decomposed by microorganisms, so they're just really hazardous. So I chose there that they're a specific type of solid waste, right? All right, so let's move to 11. The diagram below show how a beach can change over a period of 25 years. Examine the diagrams carefully and use them to answer item 11. So here's the beach in 1995, and it shows it has the same sea floor in year 2020. Nothing changed. Only thing changed is that the sea level got higher. So which environmental problem would mostly lead to the change seen in the beach? I definitely think that global warming, where the ice, based on the heat, the ice warm and the sea level will rise. So I chose A. All right. A student created a chart below to show some causes and effects of soil degradation. The chart, however, has some misplaced information and needs to be corrected. Examine the chart, then use it to answer item 12. So I'm looking at this, I see overgrazing, reduced plant growth, and I see slash and burn. This is not adding up because overgrazing, I know that's definitely an input when you're doing something. Reduced plant growth is after you have done something. Slash and burn is you doing something. So I would move 2 over to using too much chemical fertilizer over here, which is 4. I move 2 to 4 and put 4 over here because all of these are input, and then this landslide and reduced plant growth is output. So I definitely would choose 2 to 4. All right, cool. Which is a negative effect of climate change? I chose increased frequency of droughts. And I think that's correct. Decreases in the amount of sunlight. That is totally not right. We will get more sunlight, right? Increase air pollution. I don't see. I think air pollution actually help with I would say climate change. As a matter of fact, decreases in global temperature. I definitely don't think so. If anything, the temperature will get higher. So that's why I chose A. What would you choose? The diagram below shows a river. At each section of the river, the transparency of the water, the number of shrimp, and the number of underwater plants were recorded. Use this information to answer item 14. So here's a diagram. Here's a diagram showing river section and the data collected at each section. So here's section 1. It shows that there are three, first of all, transparency is high. 3 shrimp, 4 plants. Still high, 3 shrimps, 4 plants. Section C, transparency get moderate. Same 3 shrimps but 2 plants. Transparency still moderate, but there are 2 shrimps now, 2 plants. Now, transparency is low. It shows that three shrimps came back, but to one plant. The only thing I'm seeing that is consistent is that the plants go down when there's a drop in transparency. So that's why I chose water transparency are affecting the number of water plants in the river. What would you choose? All right. The graph below shows the effect different activities have on the amount of fossil fuels saved globally. Examine the graph and use it to answer item 15. Here's a graph showing the effect different activities have on the amount of fossil. So here it is. We have on the y-axis the amount of fossil fuel saved, and down here we have the activities. So which statement is supported by the data in the graph? I choose driving hybrid cars is most effective in reducing fossil fuel use because this is definitely correct. Driving hybrid is reducing 80, this is million, 80 million fossil fuel over here. So I definitely know that I am correct. What do you think? Read the information below, then use it to answer item 16. The Jones family realized that they were producing large amounts of plastics and food waste. This is bad for the environment and they want to reduce these types of waste. Which is the most suitable way that the family can reduce the amount of waste they produce? I choose reuse the plastic containers and use the food waste as fertilizers. There are other things here, but I don't think that they're the most, I would say, the best way, right, or the most suitable way. Request that the government ban straws and plastic juice bottles. That has nothing to do with the family, right? We're talking about the Jones family, right? Create a dump site for the plastic material and food waste. I don't think that would affect the Jones family. Burn the plastic materials and use the food waste as fertilizer. This could have been used for the Jones family, but burning is not a good idea, so I chose reuse. What would you choose? Number 17. A student wrote the equation below to explain a process she observed. Use the equation to answer item 17. It says solid plus heat equal liquid. So which process is represented by the equation? Melting, of course, because solid plus heat going to liquid, you're melting the whatever, maybe it's iron and it melts to a liquid form. So definitely that's melting, not freezing, not evaporation, not condensation. What can be said about a material that cannot be changed back to its original form? It has gone through a what? Reversible. Reversible mean it can come back. Color change? No, we can't change color. Change in state? Not really, right? And irreversible change, I would say irreversible. It can't come back. Where would noise pollution most likely occur? In a study room? Definitely not. People are studying. Nobody wants to hear anything. A bank lobby? People in the bank definitely don't like noise. Construction site? Yeah, people are there shouting and doing all sorts of playing music. Doctor's office? I don't think so. The symbol below was seen at the back of a toy. Use the symbol to answer item 20. This symbol is high voltage. It's a high voltage signal. So definitely I chose avoid using the toy in water because it asks which recommendation would you give the user of the toy? The user should avoid using its water. It's high voltage, so you don't want to put it in water, right? So I chose A. What would you choose? Okay, read the information in the box below, then use it to answer item 21. It says Sue split some spill, I'm sorry, not split. Sue spilled some liquid on a glass table. The table was in front of a large window through which the midday sun shone in. When she returned a few hours later, she realized that the liquid had disappeared. No one cleaned up the spill. So let's look at the question. Which statement is supported by the information? The spilt liquid changed into gas. Definitely, because you know that the sun will come out. It takes, now this is condensation, so it's come out and it, or evaporation, I should say, where the sun come in and change the liquid into gas and it evaporated, go up into the air, right? Right. So read the statement below, then use it to answer item 2022. A student wanted to use a glove to protect his hand as he cleaned up some liquid dye that had been spilt on the science lab. Which property should the material used to make the glove have? Says the material should be what? Absorbent? Definitely not. It would absorb everything. Light, lightweight? It doesn't have to be. It can be heavy or light. Smooth? Well, that's not really important. What it should be is waterproof, right? Since it's liquid, right? All right, so which sound could best be described as unpleasant? The sound of flowing river? No, I think sometime I go by the river, I like the sound. The sound of a pencil hitting the ground? Not really, unless it's constantly. The sound of a lawnmower? I don't like the sound of the lawnmower, so I chose that. What would you choose? And the soft sound of leaves rustling in the wind? I don't think so. Which is an example of luminous object? Bicycle reflector? No, it's a light reflecting from it. I chose a glow in the dark because glow in the dark definitely they are considered luminous. A shiny ring, no, or a glitter glue, no. Read the statement below, then use it to answer item 25. The sound I just heard was very similar to that of a squeaky door. Which best describes the sound that was heard? A low volume? It doesn't have to be. Whether the door squeak low or high, it doesn't have to be. High volume? No. A low pitch? No, definitely. When you hear a squeak, it's definitely a high pitch. So I definitely chose D. Alright, the diagram below shows us the setup of an experiment. Use it to answer item 26. So it shows a flashlight and the mirror, and then it shows a light from the flashlight, and then it hits the mirror, then it goes into another direction. What property of light is being demonstrated in diagram? It's not. Uh-oh. Why did I choose refraction here? Alright, so this should not be a refraction. I definitely know this is a reflection. I don't know what I was thinking. So this is light being reflected from the mirror, all right? So which of the following does not explain why loud sounds are harmful? So let's see which one does not. Loud sounds cannot scare animals. I chose, let's just jump to the point. Loud sounds can be heard from very far away. That doesn't tell you if it's harmful or not. But the others are constantly listening to loud music, definitely. Long term exposure to loud sounds. Loud sounds can scare animals, so those are definitely explaining how harmful it is. But this one is not, so I chose D. What would you choose? Read the observation below, then use it to answer item 28. When I looked at the image of my nose in the reflective surface, it appeared much larger. This is funny. which was likely which was likely a characteristic of the reflective surface. The surface was bumpy. If it's bumpy, it's gonna give you like a collage looking thing. The surface was flat. That's gonna give you a good image actually. Um, the surface was curved. Most likely, it will give you that appearance. The closer you get to that image, the more it will make the image look bigger. So that definitely chose C for that one. The surface was black. Nah. All right. We're jumping into 29. The diagram below shows a duck paddling on the surface of a water. Use the information to answer item 29. So here's a duck. This is a refraction. No. So this definitely. So what a refraction is when the light, based on how the light hits, it make it look like, and especially in water, it makes it look like there the image has split. So I definitely chose refraction. So let's move on to 30. Paul wanted to build a barrier to stop his brother's snoring from keeping him awake. The diagram below shows Paul's room and where he wants to put the barrier. Examine the diagram, then use it to answer item 30. Okay, so here is a barrier that should be, and this is Paul's bed and brother's bed. Okay, so what should Paul use to build a barrier? Definitely is gonna be foam because, as you know, sound doesn't go through foam, right? It can go through a single zinc or bed, a sheet. What is this? A bed sheet or a plastic shower curtain, but definitely not foam. So I would definitely use foam. And here's the direction of the foam. The snoring is going that way. This is just a distraction. You just need to put up a foam. All right. So read the information below, then use it to answer 31. It was observed that the cymbals in a drum set made sounds of different pitch when hit with the same force. So you look at that, the same force. So which of the following is a hypothesis for the observation? If the diameter of the symbol changes, then the pitch of the sound will change. I chose that because that is a hypothesis. The others are not. All right. So an equal force was used to pluck strings that had the same length but different thickness. The table below shows the findings. Use it to answer item 32 and 33. All right. So here, name of the string, I'm sorry, the thickness and the pitch of the sound, right? So which is a likely aim of the investigation? So based on what I'm seeing, it's just saying the thickness here on the string. So I chose thickness of the string of a string affects the pitch of the sound it makes. All right, what would you choose? Which statement is supported by the information in the results table? As the string gets thicker, the pitch of the sound it makes decreases, and you can see that for yourself. So that one to me is straightforward, clear. All right, the aim for the fear test is written in the box below. The box also shows an incorrect step a student followed when carrying out the fear test. Use the information to answer item 34. So here's the aim to find out if the loudness of the sound a marble makes is affected by the thickness of the mat it falls onto. So incorrect step. Using three sized marbles, drop each marble onto a thick mat. Alright, so drop it onto the same mat three times doesn't do anything, right? That's the same mat. Remember, we're trying to find out the thickness, so we need to change the thickness for it and drop the marbles on it, right? So we're gonna drop it onto the mats having different thickness for us to find out the loudness a marble makes based on the thickness of the mat. So that definitely D is the answer. All right, so instructions down here says for 35 and 36 there are more than one correct answer. Indicate your response to each item by shading the letters next to the answers you choose. An example is given below. Example, which two of the following are characteristics of all living things? So all living things grow and reproduce. So that's the answer I selected, A and C. All right, so let's jump into it now. We're going to go into 35. A harbor manager wants to reduce the amount of plastic waste polluting the harbor. The table below shows different methods of reducing plastic waste. Examine the table, then use it to answer item 35. Table shows pros and cons of different methods of reducing plastic waste. So let's see which one is correct. So to make polluters pay a fine, moderate. I chose increased number of recycle bins. Why? Because it's highly effective and expensive. It's just that it's expensive, but it's the best way as it doesn't really impact anything on the environment, right? The only thing it impacts right here is the expense. It's better if we choose expense over something like and all of that, the smoke. So all of these are things that I think would be something that is negative. So the reason I chose C and E is because they have nothing to do with the environment as a con. So I chose increased number of recycle bins and weekly harbor cleanups. All right, just effort and maybe a little cost. All right, so which two statements are true about light as it travels from its source? It travels in a circular path? Nope. Travels in a straight line? Yes. We know that light travels in a straight line, right? Can bend around corners? I know that for sure. Can pass through any material? Not any material, right? The denser it is, it can. Travels in all directions from its source? No. Travels in a straight line. All right, so 2 would be B, C. All right, let's move into 37. We're almost there, guys. Instructions for items 37 and 38. Indicate your response to each item by shading the appropriate letter in each row of the table given. Only one letter is to be shaded in each row. An example is given below. So, hearing, so the function over here and the different organs over here. So, hearing and balance is definitely the ears, sight is the eye, smell is the nose. All right, so that's why we shaded those. So, let's jump into the actual question now. Read the information and observe the tree stump below. Use them to answer item 37. By observing the ring patterns on the top of a tree stump, scientists can tell what the weather was like during each year of a tree's life, tell the age of a tree. All right, so those are the two things that observing the tree stump can tell scientists. So let's look at the stump. This is a stump. This is the middle part of it. First dark ring, center of stump is right here. Distance between two rings right here. These little things are distance between the two rings. The tree bark is right here, and the last dark ring is right here. All right, and this is December 2020. So counting outwards from the center, each dark ring equals 1 year. Okay, that's good. Um, 1 year added to the tree's life. Actually, the distance between the two rings is wider, is warm, wet years, and narrower in years when it's cold and dry. Okay, so for each statement in the table below, shade the appropriate letter in the row to indicate whether the patterns on the stump support or do not support the statements. All right, so here are the statements, and I selected that they supported all the statements. So the first statement, in the environment in which the tree was found experienced alternating rainy and dry years. So I definitely say that because remember that it says the wider the rings. So sometimes you see some narrow rings, sometimes you see wider rings. So that's alternative or alternate, meaning fluctuating. So I definitely chose that it's supported. Alright, it says the tree has been around for more than 8 years. For you to know that, you need to count the rings, the dart rings, and how many dart rings we have. We have over 10. So that means that, and remember, each rings represent a year. So if it says it's more than over 8 years, it's correct. The last one is if the picture of the stump was taken at the end of 2020, it means that 2016 and 19 were years with a lot of rainfall. How did I get that? So here is the end of 2020. So this is from 19 to 2020, right? And this is wide. So definitely I would say that 2019 to 2020 is a lot of rainfall. From 2018 to 19 it was narrow, so no. From 2017 to 18 it wasn't. But from 2016 to 2017 it's wide again. So I selected that all the statements are supported. All right, we're coming down to the end. So one or more of the graphs below can be used to support the following statements. Read the statement and examine the graph, then use them to answer item 38. Statement: climate change has caused an increase in the length of droughts. So climate change has caused an increase in the length of droughts. So we have graph one here and it's talking about temperature. So when we talk about temperature, just how hot or cold it is. Length of drought is here, so we know that this definitely is the length of drought. The drought would support that, and this is graph 2. Graph 3 is showing rainfall for 4 months in the year 2000. March, May, June, July. Not sure why they chose these months. I think this is a trick one. Alright, in the table below, shade the appropriate letter in each row to indicate the graphs that supports or does not support the statement. Climate changes has caused an increase in the length of drought. I selected at graph 3 only, does not support. Let's look at graph 3. Um, it shows the rainfall, but it doesn't show the rest of the year. I am not sure if this is saying that this is all the rainfall for the entire year. This is just not telling me that. So to me, it doesn't support that climate change actually increases the length of drought. I don't see any of this. It says graph 1 and 2 I selected yes because showing changes in global temperature over the time and the temperature I definitely think that this one can. Graph showing average length of droughts over time. I think these two did. So I selected A. Graph 1 and 3. I don't, again, this is just too vague for me. So tell me what you think, but I didn't choose this one, so I said selected does not support because it's not telling me a full year, or it's just giving me some months out of 1 year. It doesn't tell me that it increases the length of droughts. So I don't know. It didn't stick out to me. Let me know what you think. All right, so here's the final two, I guess. Instructions for item 39 and 40: indicate your responses by shading the letters in the sentence or paragraph that makes it correct. Each letter corresponds to a word or expression from a given list of options. Each option should be used only once. Not all options have to be used. An example is given below. Okay, so example, use the list of options below. Okay, so let's just go through it. I already read that. So it says so which one is it? A, B, C, or D? It's showing down here. So D shaded, it says the I. Um, the I is one of what is it that comes next? A, 5, and then it says C, so sight. So it's I, 5, and sight. So the eye is one of the five sense organs in the body. It is responsible for sight. Okay, cool. All right, let's move on. So the diagram below shows how a drawing appears when a sheet of glass is held in front of it. Observe the diagram and use it to answer item 39. So here's a drawing without the glass in front of it, and here is a sheet of glass. I'm sorry. So use the diagram and the word choices A to I below to correctly complete the statement which follows. So here are the word choices. So let's see. The glass held in front of the drawing was, I chose translucent because when something is translucent, it's not gonna be clear. So it's gonna give you a distorted vision or visual. So I chose translucent, and a glass with this characteristic will definitely um, allow some light to travel through, and that's why you will get that. You will get that look because not all the light will be going through. You will get that look if it's translucent. And adding another sheet of glass with those same characteristics, which is the translucent, it will actually, I would say, even appear more blurry. So I chose those. Tell me what you think, right? Here's the final one. The diagram below shows two cabbage fields, field A and field B. The observations of a farmer are also included. Carefully examine the diagrams and use them to answer item 40. So here it is. No caterpillar bites mark seen on cabbage and seen on soil and on cabbage. So the answer here, no caterpillar bites. Wow. Over here now we have less cabbage. Caterpillar bites marks on cabbage. No ants seen on soil or cabbage. Alright. So use the diagram and the word choices below to correctly complete the statement which follows. The statement should explain why field A produced more cabbage than field B. Alright, so word choices are fertilizers, blah blah blah. Let's look at this statement. Field A produced more cabbage than field B because I have A, fertilizers on field A protected the cabbage. So that's what I have there. Okay, so we have come to the end of the Science CBT 2022. Hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know in the description what you got, or if you disagree or agree with the answers I chose. All right, again, remember you can get this test paper by clicking on in the description and downloading it. Remember to like, subscribe, share it with other people, and see if we can actually take the test together and see if we could even ace the test. Again, I'm Brainy. Have a wonderful day. See you soon.